Hey, what's up everybody? So today we're going to be working on the OBS, and what we're going to be doing, the AC system on it. The customer actually lives in Florida and it gets hot down there, as many as you well already know. So we're going to go ahead and get the AC system back up to par. The compressor has a clutch that is not functioning, so we're going to put a new compressor on it and dryer. So that means we got to recharge the system, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So let's get into this. All right, so we are going to start with go ahead and get the air cleaner off this truck. You know, it's just kind of in the way when we're trying to do stuff. So we'll get it out of here. It's just held on by these two little plastic wing nuts. I wish they'd used metal on these, but they did not. So unfortunately, that's what we're just faced with. A lot of people do switch them out for metal, but this one is just stock. It's stock to me. Okay, that's out of the way. Now, there is our compressor. I've already unplugged the line on it, as you can see right here. So that's out of there. Now I'm going to start with taking this 15 millimeter loose back here, get the lines out of the way, and then we can start, you know, getting some of the bolts out of that, pulling our dryer, which is right there is our dryer. I've already pulled the switch off of it. We'll have to put that back on, but I'm going to get a new switch too. So let's go ahead and get this thing off here. Okay, so tools you're going to need: 15 millimeter wrench, a 14 millimeter wrench, 14 millimeter socket. I'm using a wobble head, makes it easier for me. Whatever preference you guys prefer. And this jewel. We're going to need 1 1/4 inch wrench in order to be able to get these lines off. They make another tool for this, but that's what I happen to have on hand, and it'll work just fine. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so let's go ahead and get this. That is a 15 millimeter. We'll go ahead and get this loose. Well, I guess there's still a little residual left in it, even though I evacuated the system already. Yep, just a little bit. All right, and yeah, I did pull it off with the canister. I did try to save some of it, but I'm just going to take that back and have it put it back to the system, so that way we're going in with fresh, completely fresh Freon R134A. So this is our little bracket back here, our little support bracket, just kind of held in place back here. Well, this it goes back on the manifold right here next to the throttle body, and then we've got another nut that holds it on right here. Okay, almost. Yep. And that should just come right off there. Now we got to get these loose. These are all 14 mil. Now that wasn't very tight at all. I mean, I did go around and break them loose there earlier, but yeah. Okay, that right here. And there should be another one down here somewhere, back in behind, if you can see that right there. Okay, there's the last one. Now the compressor is loose, so now I'm gonna need to go ahead and take the belt loose. That way I can go ahead and get the compressor worked off there. I've got my bar, AKA jack handle. So now I can reach over here. Well, I went the wrong way. I'm loosening it. There we go. Good and tight. pull it off right here. Okay. Now we can get all this out of the way. And I can continue taking the compressor apart. So, let me get this loose off that. All right, now, that one's loose. Now, these actually have a slot on them, and I'll show you here in just a second. All right, if you look right here, there is a little slot right there. This is the way the bolt's made, so they're made to come out past the lip on this. Takes a little persuasion, but they will come out. And there should be one right down here on the back. Gotta get it. All right, now remember they are two different lengths. The long one goes through right here. So now this should be loose. I'm gonna have to pry it, apparently. Well, this looks like it just worked for a pry tool as well. All right, bar in hand. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Big wrench. Okay, let me see if I can get down in behind this, and then we'll just start prying it out. And there it is. One compressor. Okay, big wrench time. And we're gonna take this line off right here, which is on our dryer. Reason we gotta do that is because we're gonna replace this dryer and the O-ring, because I have an O-ring and dryer kit, and that is a different size. We'll have to, it looks like it's gonna be a 1 inch. All right, so let's go ahead and get this nut loose on the dryer. Already broke it loose. All right. That's loose coming out of the firewall. Oh, that's a little corroded too. Now I should be able to take the dryer once I get everything loose here. There, the O-ring fell out. I have to find that because I want to compare it. All right, there's that. Oh, O-ring's actually inside of it, see? And that's where the O-ring sit, was right there. So that way I can just verify where we're at on it. Okay, so I've got the new O-rings in place on this. And this line here, really didn't have to do that line yet, but I did need to go ahead and get it on here so I can get this started. Hold on to that bolt. Now remember folks, these don't have to be super tight, but they gotta be tight enough to seal. Now before we tighten the line up and put it back on here, we got to put 3 ounces of PAG oil in the dryer. And if you're like me, you put it on and you thought, hey wait, it doesn't have any oil. So, but now the compressor does come pre-filled with 3 ounces. The whole system takes 6 ounces. And yeah, I just made a bit of a mess, but we'll just keep going until we get this filled up. All right, PAG oil in. Put the line back on this side. Tight. Okay. All right, so now we can go ahead and set the compressor in place. Okay, so we are now getting ready to go ahead and swap out our O-rings. These were what was left of the R12. Now they have an updated, I said duded, hey. So updated O-ring. Now what I did is I just basically lightly greased those with a little bit of pag oil. And got them on there. The compressor does come pre-filled with 3 ounces of pag oil. So now I can go ahead and get this bad boy off there. All right, got our little plug removed here. Now, like I said, pag oil already in place. And we can go ahead and tighten our lines up. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this thing on. So we've got everything vacuumed out. Had one little small leak here on the back of the compressor that I had to switch out a O-ring, and that's why I pull vacuum on it for that specific reason. Went around, checked the connections. There we go. Fixed it. Now we are sitting currently at about 27 pounds of mercury. So that means that we are, 27 pounds of vacuum, which is a lot of vacuum. And I'm gonna let this sit for about 45 minutes, so we'll return and get some gas in it, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so it's been almost 45 minutes, and we're still holding about 27, 28 pounds of mercury, so that means the system is completely sealed, and there's no leaks. So now we can add some refrigerant. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, it's already off, it's already closed. You wonder how it is I'm going to be able to do that because I don't have the tank, because normally you would fill it with this hose here. I don't have that, but what I do have is this right here. Because all I have is a small can, so you don't need a huge tank in order to be able to add AC to these. I mean, literally, like I said, it's just one of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a can of R134 and I'm gonna show you how I do it. So it's really gonna pull it in pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the low side here where it goes anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and open the valve and you're just gonna listen to it. There's one can going in. All right, and there we go. AC system is finished, complete, working great. And what we ended up with was, it's about 75 degrees in here, so the gauges actually showed 35 PSI on the low side, 75 to 150 on the high side, which is exactly where it should be at the temperature it is today. So we got about 2.5 pounds of the small cans in it. Like I said, that's my little trick, how I get it in there when I don't have the big can, because it's about 310 bucks for the big can, and not everybody can really afford to offset the cost of that unless you do a lot of AC like we do. But there we have it, folks, and if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.